Hi everybody, this is Samantha here with Crafty Chicks Corner. I wanted to come and share a Christmas project with you. We actually did this card in my card class at the local coffee shop, and I thought that you might enjoy the exact directions in a video. We started with, well, let's talk about the project for a second, what products we're going to be using. We're going to be using the Perfectly Plaid bundle, which is a punch and a clear photopolymer stamp set. We're going to be using the wrapped in plaid designer series paper, a couple different sheets. I'm going to show you a little trick to do with this. This designer series paper does actually fit right in this punch, so that's great to have those coordinating products. And we're also going to be using the layering circles framelits. We're actually going to be doing a gatefold card. So I took a sheet of Night of Navy cardstock that comes 8.5 by 11, and I cut it at 5.5. And now we're going to score it at 2 1/8, which is half of 4 1/4 on one side, and then turn around and flip it and do 2 1/8 the other way. If you noticed, I'm using the new Stampin' Up paper trimmer. When I'm recording this video, I'm not exactly sure of a release time yet, but I really do enjoy it. So as soon as I have that information, I will get that out to you. And now you're going to use your bone folder and just crease those sides really well. And set that aside. We're going to cut the designer series paper, this plaid one with gold. There's quite a few beautiful patterns here, so you can really just use whatever color your little heart desires in the Christmas realm. Here you've got the gold foil mixed in, and you've got your Night of Navies, your shaded spruce, your cherry cobbler, and of course your white. And there's as you can see, different size. This is a real wide plaid, this is a really small plaid, so this one's less busy. So but I really like this Night of Navy. It's just something a little different for my card classes. So we're going to now cut this designer series paper at 1 7/8. You need 2 pieces, and then you can, this is my first time trying to stack paper in the new paper cutter, so we'll see how it goes. And then for the height of it, so you've got 1 7/8, 1 7/8 for your side panels here. And then the height of it is 5.5. So I'm going to do 5 1/4 to give you an 1/8 on each side. Now you might have noticed that I went to the top of the paper trimmer for this. This paper trimmer's measurements, there's a gap where the arm goes, that it swings out. This arm goes to 17 inches, but where the arm goes, there are no lines down on the bottom part of it. So to measure 5 1/4, I have to go to the top or flip it and read it upside down. Perfect. Okay, not quite ready to assemble yet. I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of my die cutting. Now I'm using the Big Shot. Where did I just set that paper? Man, no matter how organized I try to be to film a video, I always lose some paper. Oh yeah, because I was showing you guys the paper stack. I set it right back on top. We're going to be die cutting this red and white polka dot, as well as doing a circular tree. And I'll show you that little trick. For right now, while I'm waiting on the sorry about that. While I'm waiting on the release of the new die cutting machine from Stampin' Up, I'm still using my Big Shot. And I choose to use the magnetic platform just because I think it gives me more control over where my dies are and them slipping and sliding around. So I'm going to line this up. Hope you guys can see this. I'm just going to check real quick. Okay. So I'm taking the layering circle dies, and I'm going to take the smaller one and cut out this tree. And you want to get the tree as centered as possible. I probably could have done this with one crank by fitting the paper the other way. The red polka dot paper with the bigger circle. And then I would have only had to crank it once. I usually try to be quite efficient and crank only as little as I have to. But I didn't want to cut up this polka dot paper and I can use it all the way to the edge. So I didn't want to get any crinkles and creases in it. So for today, I will crank twice. I will show you guys my efficient project prep one day. I'm starting to get pretty good at that. I can fit like sometimes up to 6 dies on one fail swoop there. I'll get this out of your guys' way. Now you can get the PDF instructions and the pictures on my website at craftychickscorner.com. But I'm going to show you guys my trick here that I use a Post-it note for to line up the center of the punch, because you want to make sure that your tree is in the center like that, and I didn't want to waste any paper. So what I'm going to do is take a sticky note. I leave a sticky note stuck to my desk at all times just to hold papers that are too small into punches. But I'm going to line it up right in the center of the paper here. And luckily with the dots, they're already incremented perfectly. So it's just easy for me to count 4 dots, and go right in between. And then you can take your pencil line on your Post-it and line it up to the top of the tree. See how this works. Woohoo! That's pretty darn center. I think we're good. Because I made this purposely smaller so we can line it up. I might just need to trim off a little bit. But I can line it up just like that. There you go. And that's the closure to our Gatefold card. So now we just need to assemble we need to stamp the inside. So I need to grab a piece of Whisper White. On the inside of this card, even with the gatefold, is still just your standard inside. So you're going to want 4 inches by 5 1/4 for your inside. And 4 inches. Definitely not 5 1/4. I just like to use up my scraps for insides if I can. So this one I should be able to do. So 5 1/4 go into the top of my trimmer. By 4 inches. Oh, look, already 4 inches. Perfect. And then I'm going to be using the shaded spruce ink with this hoping that your busy year comes together in Christmas cheer. I really like that sentiment. Man, I'm just all fumbles today. Now, if you ever get a photopolymer stamp that doesn't seem to quite be settling the ink very well, I have a little tip that I do when I get them, only if they don't stamp well. Many do, but you can use a white eraser and erase over it and then clean your stamp, and it gets any film that might have been left from like production. So now I am going to try to get this as straight as possible. So I'm using the lines on my grid paper and going straight here. I want it sort of 2/3 up. That way I have plenty of room to write a little message, plus, you know, love from all of my family. So there we go. That looks nice. I always stamp first before I glue, and the reason that I do that is so that paper has 2 sides. I have less waste that way because I can, if I mess up stamping, if I have, you know, a faded area or I didn't do even pressure, I just flip it over and I can use the other side. Probably in the studio lights, you know, you can see through this white paper, but with the naked eye, you really can't. So let's start assembling. I'm using the snail adhesive tape runner. Snail is really one of my go-to tapes for 90% of my things, unless I'm making a box. The decorations for the box can be in snail, but I usually like to use the tear-in tape when I do 3D items. And I just go along all the edges because I want these cards to not only sit and, you know, make it through the post office, but I also want them to be able to sit on someone's mantle or hang on their wall. I know many people, I myself, like to keep my Christmas cards up as part of my decoration. And then I just line it up and center it here. Have you started making Christmas cards yet? Are you doing handmade? Are you purchasing them? Funny story is I'm actually terrible about actually mailing cards. I am a card maker, and I will make a card and have a specific person in mind, and it will never hit the mailbox. Sometimes I wind up giving it to them the following year because I never get it in the post office. I'm actually going to die cut those. I don't like how they're lining up at all. going to try my post-it note trick again. See if I can get it to line up a little better. But look at this cute little tree that's left over from the negative. Oh, I like that. I'm going to keep that. That's going on a future project. I like to use all my scraps when I can. Maybe my sticky note is about to retire because it seems to not be quite so sticky. Okay. Two trees. Oh, much better, much better. Let's see how this can line up now. See how this one's a little off center. And this one is right on, so this should be a lot easier to line up. Perfect. There we go. No trimming, no nothing necessary. So this is actually, the Pattern Designer Series paper that has the trees on it, and it lines up perfectly with the punch. But I thought instead of just punching that, I would punch it and make it more of like a window. So I'm actually going to take my glue to this. So I don't have any excess sticking anywhere. And then I'm just going to line it up like this again. There we go. I want that to be center of attention. Now I usually would pop this because I pop dot everything. I like dimension in my cards. But some of the ladies in class had asked me for more flat cards because of the cost of postage for their out-of-state families. So I am trying to oblige. There you go. There you go. Just a quick and easy card, gatefold card for you. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day.